be gay. Everybody should be gay. I don't know. I mean, not everybody should be gay, but like, be gay if you want to be gay. I don't know. Sorry, I was trying to be encouraging and I think I just sounded insane. That's okay.
Hey baddies, before we get into the video, I do need to address the fact that the lighting is going to get progressively worse throughout this video. We start off really, really strong and really, really nice and bright, and I end being like low-key cosplaying I'm about to tell a scary story. I don't know. It's okay. Love me, please. I'll be better next time. I just don't care anymore. I care, but I care so much that I'm ready to be done with this entire topic because my head is hurting. I'm wiping my hands clean of it, throwing it in the trash. Okay, love you.
Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaden. Katie, if you're a baddie, you can call me that. I know nothing, yet I care about everything. And something that I used to really, really care about was fan fiction. I loved it. What can I say? I'm a part of the freak nation that loved reading about people kissing, seeing people kissing. You can't shame me. What's a girl to do when she's bored alone at home? I don't know. That being said, something that I love is revisiting things that I really, really liked in middle school and seeing how they now fare under my almost 20-year-old eyes. Ugh, I hate that. I'm turning 20 teen next Tuesday. What the freak? August 12th. That's literally my B day. My 20th B day. That's my B day. All that being said, today I want to talk about one of my nostalgic fandom relics that I ended up revisiting to see how it fared under my 20 teen eyes. Today I'm going to be talking about Yellow by Torches. Yellow was a Cameron fan fiction. I was a harmonizer, sue me, and I was going to give you a play by play of this fan fiction, but I think that's just going to take a little too long. I'm going to tell you the big, big things, and if you happen to want to read it, it is still on Wattpad. It is a physical published book now, so you can get it there too. Hashtag support small authors, I guess. Not I guess. Hashtag support small authors. I say authors, I'm sorry, authors. There we go. I do want to give a little bit of background on Fifth Harmony, but other than that, that's all I want to do. I want to give background on Fifth Harmony, tell you about this fan fiction, and tell you my thoughts about fan fiction in general, and especially real person fan fiction. And I think you'll enjoy what I have to say. Maybe. Sometimes I make a funny. I don't know if I'm going to make a funny in this video, but sometimes I do. I don't know. Subscribe. Fifth Harmony is structurally similar to groups that both preceded and succeeded it. It was composed of 5 girls: Lauren Haregi, Camila Cabello, Ali Hernandez, Dinah Jane, Normani Corday. I don't know why I went 5 fingers to the face with that, but I did. They auditioned for X Factor as solo artists and were put together at throughout the competition as groups are. One Direction was like that. Little Mix was like that. I'm sure other groups were like that. I just can't remember.
I actually was gonna put, sorry, I actually was gonna put a clip of them being eliminated, then put back together to tell them that they were gonna advance in the competition. I was gonna put that in here, but I don't want to because Titanium by Sia is blaring in the background. So I'm gonna give you a really quick synopsis of what happens. So all the girls are eliminated. They are sobbing. I think the person who cries the hardest, Allie. She's crying so hard that she can't catch her breath in the after elimination interview that they make her go through. It's so sad. Then they're all outside talking to their families, talking to each other, whatever. And a lady from the show comes out and says, I have this list of names. I'm going to call out everyone that's on here. And once we're called out, we're going to go back to the stage. So she calls out everyone. All the girls are on there. A lot of other people are also on there. And they get on stage, and Simon Cowell's like this: You're the people that we eliminated, but you were like a fan favorite, not a fan favorite, but like we liked you so much that we are going to bring you back. And then he's like, you go stand over there. Ali, go stand with the other girls. You here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. As you are right now, you are going to be going to the judges' houses. And that basically means that they're going to go to the next part of the competition. After literally sobbing so hard as if their childhood dog was taken from them, put on stage, and shot in the head, and they were told to clean up the body, That's how they were crying. Okay. After all of that, they are now told that they're going to go to the next part of the competition with some other people. And they are like, it is so insane. Like, all while Titanium by Sia is blaring in the background. All of this. I'm just like, I'm overstimulated. I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. What is reality TV? A mess. That's what it is. Love it. Love it.
And they placed overall third in that season of X Factor and were signed to Simon Cowell's record label.
I also want to say that the fact that they even placed high and like sort of kind of I mean, they were successful post X Factor and they were able to like benefit from their time on there, of course, because they were signed to Simon Cowell's record label. I think that is surprising because 9 times out of 10, if they were on stage, it was a mess. In the competition, it was a mess. They did not sound good most of the time, in my opinion. Going back now and watching it, they did not sound good most of the time. There was this one performance and they get on stage. I cannot remember for the life of me what they were singing. They sound terrible. Demi Lovato is a judge this season. Khloe Kardashian is the host. And so obviously after they sing their song, they're doing their whatever, their critique, their judging, whatever, what have you. And it was bad. So they were being critiqued. And Demi had said, only one person had stood out tonight. Only one person had really like killed it. And everyone's like, okay, well, who was it? And Demi goes, well, I'm not gonna say, oh, it was you. And she points to Camila. So I think that was so messy boots of Demi. I don't care. I understand. But these are all young girls. For you to get up on national television and tell these like teenage girls that only one of them did good. That's why they started performing as if they were being graded individually. They said it's either get 8, I gotta eat it up. Did they eat it up? No, never. But they
Talk about their music, even though if you see a video on Fifth Harmony, the music is rarely mentioned. Because, babe, when you think of the mess that is Fifth Harmony, you're not thinking about the vocals. Because I think everyone in that group can sing. Everyone can sing. Could they all dance? No. Did they sound and look a mess most of the time? Yes. Do I think those girls can sing? Yeah, I do. What can I say? I'm a stan, first and foremost, a human being every other day. So in 2013, they released their first single, Miss Moving On, and that played on Radio Disney and BT every single day. After that, they released their Better Together EP that went multi-platinum in my household. 2015, they released their debut album, Reflection. That went triple platinum in my household, okay? Banger after banger after banger after banger, what Reflection is, okay? After Reflection, the following year in 2016, they released 727 to like pay homage to the day they came together as a group on X Factor. And then the following year of that, 2017, they released their last album as a group, which is Fifth Harmony, self-titled. I love all the albums, and you shouldn't pit queens against one another, you know? Pick your head up, queen, your crown is falling. But if I had to rank the albums, I would have to say Reflection is my number one always. Hit after hit on there. Like, always, babes, always. My favorite off of there had to be like Body Rock or something. Not even probably the best song on there, like objectively, but Body Rock was the best subjectively, okay? I'm dancing in the rain because there's a fire burning deep inside for you. Yeah. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. Second would be 727. I really like it. I think it's a solid work. I still re-listen to Reflection all the time. I very much cherry pick the types of songs that I listen to from 727. And number 3, Fifth Harmony self-titled, I rarely go back to listen to that album. That album, like, is not a real thing in my mind. That is AI to me. That is AI generated content, and I flag it every single time. I'm reporting your account for even saying that. I also want to say December of 2016, Camila Cabello leaves. That was my 9/11. You think I'm being dramatic, but I'm not. You think I'm being crazy, but I'm not. It was not as bad as the Zayn leaving One Direction because the girlies were literally fighting real demons when that happened. It was serious to me. I'm still there. Right where you left me, I am still there. December 2016, the message to the fans. But that's all I really want to say before I get into the fan fiction, okay?
That's actually not all I had to say. I was having a really troubled time deciding on if I wanted to include this portion, I guess. But Camila was racist. There were some tweets. Her fans were really gross, acting a lot. A lot of the times, the girls that faced the most was Normani and Dinah. There was a picture of a lynched, I don't know if you can say that, lynched body, and Normani's face was photoshopped over it. So it was hard out here being a stan of them. And I didn't really talk too much about that. And I don't really want to talk too much about that. Camila has addressed it, and I have my own thoughts and opinions on that. But I do just want to throw it out there. It happened. She's addressed it. Do with it what you will. And I just think that there isn't any type of adequate response to something like that, being called out for something like that. Because if you do respond and people deem your apology bad, which they probably will because we don't know what constitutes a good apology as a collective. And if you don't address it, then you have people in your comments talking about when are you going to address da 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 da. You just back yourself into a corner that really there isn't a good way to go about. Um, and yeah, that's all I want to say about that. But there is more to say, but that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, see you later.
Now, with any fandom, the meat and potatoes of it relies in the shipping. I feel like a lot of traction, especially nowadays, are garnered around shows is fan edits, and usually fan edits about ships that are in the entertainment. That's how I would find new shows. I would go through, see, okay, this person is also engaging with this type of fandom. Okay, well, let me look and see. That's how I would find stuff. And I don't know. Fangirls rule the world. What can I say? Be nicer to the teenage girls in your life. They deserve it. That's why I don't want to be 20, and that's why I'm turning 20 teen. Shipping was not something that is exclusive to fiction. And do I think it should be exclusive to fiction? Yes. When I was younger, did I feel that way? No. I was a Cameron fanatic. Cameron is the ship name for Camila and Lauren. I know it's terrible. I'm being really raw and vulnerable with you now right now because I would not admit this. At some point in time, this was like you'd have to torture this information out of me, but now I'm admitting it because that's the first step. My arm is like so crossed over my body. I'm sorry. I'm so awkward. I hate that. My apologies. A final hurrah for me being a teenager. I decided to reread one of the most coveted Cameron fan fictions. And I did not realize how popular it was until going back and rereading it because I kind of was just reading it and I'm like, okay, I'm taking notes on it so I could remember what was going on. But you know, every author on Wattpad would have an author's note. In the author's note, her, I think Twitter and her Tumblr was linked. So I looked her up on Tumblr and everyone is ranting and raving about the Yellow series. So Yellow is the first in a trilogy. I only reread the first one. I might go back and reread the second one and third one. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But it's the first one in a trilogy and it is an alternate universe. So most real person fan fiction honestly takes place in an alternate universe because there is really no, I wouldn't say no substantial kind of thing, but that's how you get your characters to interact more, especially if you're shipping real people. They're most likely just coworkers, right? And you see your coworkers when you're at work. But if you're trying to fabricate this and story around them, you have to give material to be fabricated, right? So this is an alternate universe. The girls are not famous. They're not aspiring to be famous. They are just regular, people, college aged kids. So this opens up. We see the girls, Lauren, Allie, Normani, and Dinah, all a few months into their freshman year of college at the New York Academy of Art. They came from small town Miami because that's how Miami is written. I'm like, okay. They came from small town Miami and they got on a plane, hopped off at JFK, and there they are. You know, they love it. It's going great. Everything's going seemingly well. Until one day, Camila Cabello shows up at their apartment. She's very, very strange. She doesn't really remember their shared history, which was a tumultuous one. She is just overall very not as eloquent as someone their age would be. All she is saying is that she needs a bed, and she came to visit her friends in New York. The problem is that none of the girls were friends with Camila because she was a bully. She ended up outing Lauren their sophomore year of high school out in front of the entire school at lunch in the cafeteria. She read texts between Lauren and an online friend that she had made about coming out to her parents. So already Lauren is just not having it. But they let Camila stay that night, and she is very troubled. That night, when getting ready for bed, Dinah sees that Camila has glass shards in her feet, and all she said is that she had to leave. She couldn't be there anymore. She had to leave. And that was that. There's the use of a lesbian prevention guard one night, and then the next night it's gone. What can we say? Who knows? People, just be gay. Happy Pride Month. I love you. But all in all, you start to see these girls become more and more accepting of Camila, and we try to figure out what's going on with Camila in and of it herself. She and Lauren really butted heads for the first, and this is another thing. I know I'm giving you the synopsis, but I have to tell you this. People are acting as if this is the slowest of burns, and in reality, Lauren and Camila finding out that they have feelings for each other happens within like a week, truly. But that being said, at first, Lauren and Camila butt heads. Lauren is obviously hurt and upset about what Camila had done to her, and Camila doesn't remember. All she is saying is that they are friends and she came to see her friends. But as you see, slowly all of the girls start to come around to Camila's presence, and in doing so, she begins to find comfort in them and tell them what she can remember has happened to her. So I think Allie was the first one to be super, super like open with her. And I also want to mention this. This is kind of a side note, but not really. There are certain archetypes and genre conventions of a Fifth Harmony fan fiction, especially when it comes to romantic stuff, where Allie is always seen as this maternal, level-headed guiding force in comparison to all the other girls. Lauren is always very stoic and stubborn, and she dresses in all black, and she's very tough and everything else. Camila's always very like, I like One Direction videos. Not like that, but I mean, she did say that, but she was also 15 at the time. I'm not judging that. But that's how she's characterized, and Normani and Dinah are always characterized as like the playful, goofy ones, very unserious, always down for a good time, and they always are dancing. Normani was the best dancer out of everyone, but like that didn't have to be her entire personality trait. She was so much more than just a dancer. Okay, whatever. I digress. That's okay. But Allie was kind of the first one to come like to terms with Camila being there for longer than just a few nights, where she had went to Lauren and had spoken to her and said, you don't have to forgive her. You don't have to forgive her. You don't have to be super, super open with her, but you do need to be understanding, because we all have acknowledged that she has changed in ways that we're unaware of. So as time goes on, we're learning more and more about Camila's whereabouts these past few months, because the last time they had seen her was right before they left at graduation and stuff, and it is a few months into their college like freshman year, like their first like fall semester, a few months in. It has not been that long since they've seen her, but she is so different. In this fan fiction, Lauren is characterized as very stubborn, and that she does a lot of black and white thinking. There's no gray. She either is 100% for something or 100% not for something. She rarely changes her mind, and at first it's kind of like this admirable, almost quirky feature of her, but in reality, being around someone like that is nauseating. You do not want to be around someone like that. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be friends with that person. You don't even want to be acquaintances with that person, right? One night, Camila is changing in Lauren's room and she sees that she has all these bruises on her torso. Some are fresh, some are old, purple, blue, black, yellow, all of the whole rainbow of bruises. And Camila had said that they had her at one point in time, but they don't now, and she's just learning to accept kind of thing. She's not saying it like that. But and another thing I want to acknowledge, while we have kind of seen Lauren's characterization as this stubborn whatever, what have you, Camila is the opposite of that. They are these like juxtaposed like foil characters of one another, where Lauren is very dark and mysterious and hardened, and Camila is very light and warm and inviting. They're very juxtaposed in that. But they both describe each other as, you guessed it, yellow. A Halsey tease almost. They're yellow to each other. Very beautiful in each other's eyes, very can do no wrong in each other's eyes as well. All of that type of thing. There are obviously some bumps in the road, but overall, all of the girls are coming to accept Camila into this little group. They soon enough, Lauren and Camila ends up being super like lovey-dovey and kissy and stuff. And even though I'm not giving you a play-by-play, there are things that are leading to this like character growth, relationship growth. But even then, I still think it is very, very fast for their shared history that we are supposed to believe and engage with. I just personally think I'm tired of the redemption arc of the homophobic bully turning out to be gay. Let's kiss the gay person that they bullied. I don't like it. Yes, Camila, we end up knowing about Camila's ulterior motives to why she outed Lauren, and we can say, okay, cool, fine. I'm just sick of the trope in media in general. But Lauren has learned a lot from Camila about how to be a little bit more whimsical, how to tap into another side of her art, just stuff like that. Lauren kind of looks as Camila as her muse. And that's when you also kind of see this trope of like a manic pixie dream girl effect, where Camila is very I know nothing, but I know everything, and I a woo, like a woo, a woo. Lauren looks at her as her muse and everything else. And Lauren didn't really look at her as, I mean, she did. She just didn't know the word to describe it until her professor was like, I think you found yourself a muse. And she was like, And I'm like, you're a freshman in college for art. You should know what the word muse is, but I digress. Who cares? Whatever. So one day, Lauren is in the library and she does some research to find out what Camila has been through. She looks her up. Well, she doesn't look her up on Facebook, but she finds a friend of Camila's from high school on Facebook. And the last picture of Camila on the page is from like a graduation party. A few days before that, Camila had told her that Tom had taught her how to shower, because she's very reminiscent of a child in here, where she is like placated by mobile games, doesn't know basic safety like crossing the street or why you need to disinfect a wound or whatever, what have you. Stuff like that, where she's very, very childlike. But she tells Lauren that Tom taught her how to shower and everything else. And Lauren's like, Tom? Who is Tom? But soon enough, the girls are very clingy. And like I said, to understand Camila, Lauren went to look on the Facebook. After looking at the girl, like the friend's Facebook, she goes onto one of the school computers in the library and she's typing up the names, and she sees that Camila was involved in a very, very tragic car accident that night of the graduation party that was pictured on Sydney's Facebook. Basically, what happened was two cars collided. One car full of everyone like dipped, they left, and the other car that Camila and her boyfriend was in flipped over into a ditch, and they were Scott, her boyfriend at the time, left her there. So the boyfriend leaves Camila to die, basically. He goes home, and his excuse was that he was so inebriated that he didn't even remember. It was kind of just like he was working on autopilot, and he was just like, well, my car is totaled, and my girlfriend's about to die in the passenger seat, so I guess I'm gonna go home. Okay, cool. And earlier that morning, before Lauren left to go to school and she was able to research all of this stuff, Camila had a very visceral and physical reaction to Lauren leaving. Very separation anxiety, kicking, screaming, and she's up like kicking a nearby table, and the vase that was on it falls and breaks. The table ends up breaking and everything else. And she realized that not that she shouldn't have done it, but rather her fear of punishment is so palpable where she's like hitting herself and calling her stupid and cowering. And people are like, we just want you to calm down. Number one, just dead all that. I ain't reading all that. Just calm down first. Just calm down first. Okay, please. Come on now. Lauren ends up sharing the information that she found out about Camila's accident with the other girls. That night, Lauren and Camila confess their feelings to one another and they're like kissy and like, and I'm like, ew. I love it. Be gay. Everybody should be gay. I don't know. I mean, not everybody should be gay, but like, be gay if you want to be gay. I don't know. Sorry, I was trying to be encouraging and I think I just sounded insane. That's okay. Honestly, for a couple of days, it's a lot of lovey-dovey stuff. They go see the sunrise. They are painting and Camila's being Lauren's muse and everything else. Until one day, everything comes crashing down because of course it does. But while Lauren and Camila are kind of in their own bubble, the other girls are a little bit worried about them moving too far too fast. Camila has developmentally like the same likeness, I would say, literally of like a toddler. Her sentences, her thoughts and feelings about certain things is very interesting, and she's very, very young. And I think that's an interesting way to go for this story. But soon enough, everything is okay. The dust is settling. Like I said, everything is really great. They are talking about why Camila is maybe a little bit hesitant to say that she likes Lauren. And she had told Dinah that someone had hurt her in the past for saying that she had liked girls and stuff. It was just we're learning about Camila. We're learning about everyone. Everyone's doing really nice things, you know? It's a lot of comforting, mushy, fluffy stuff for a minute, where if Camila's hurt, Lauren will embrace her and wipe her tears away and sing to her and all these really cute romantic things. But when you're trying to like read, you're okay, how many chapters of them just being cute are we gonna have? I want to get the angst. I want to have the resolution. I need to have something, okay? But soon, everything goes awry, and this is where the angst begin. So one night, Lauren gifts Camila a yellow sweatshirt and she loves it and everything's great. And they go to bed, and in the middle of the night, they hear banging at their door. Camila's obviously very scared, and Dinah goes to open up the door. Lauren comes down to see what's going on, and they open up the door, and there's police there saying that they are looking for Carla Cabello and they have a warrant out for her arrest. They arrest her. You want to know on what charge? Second-degree murder. I said, so we're turning into a murder mystery. When I first read that, you would have thought like I was reading a Shakespearean tragedy. I was like,
Okay, I think I just kind of forgot a part. I wanted to mention who she ended up murdering. She murdered Tom Maverick, her uncle. And we're going to talk about how she did. Well, I didn't even say how she did it. She ends up shooting him. But yeah, I kind of just started talking about it, working under the assumption that you knew what I was talking about, but you don't. She was charged with second-degree murder of her uncle Tom. Okay, cool, great, amazing.
Lauren is hysterical. She ends up pulling enough money from the girls to get her a flight to Miami. And when she gets to Miami, that's when she goes all like Nancy Drew. She's breaking into Camila's old house because they're saying she shot the uncle and fled the scene. And that's why she's getting arrested, okay? She's breaking into the Camila's house. She's breaking into school. She's visiting old friends, the Sydney girl that had the Facebook post. She's visiting there, and she ends up finding evidence of Uncle Tom, which Uncle Tom is crazy. I'm going to say Tom Maverick because that's his full name in here. Tom Maverick abusing Camila. You hear the story of how Camila lost her parents at a young age because they were in Colorado or something, and it was wintertime, it was Christmas time, and one of the most important things for her to get for Christmas, like she asked Santa for, was a yellow princess dress. So her parents go out to get it and they end up being in a fatal car accident. Both her parents pass away in this car accident, and the other family was literally unharmed. Was unharmed. And then she goes to live with her Aunt Susie and Tom, and soon Aunt Susie passes away. Not really sure from what. She just ended up getting sick randomly and she ends up passing away, and that's what happened. And from then on, Tom was a nuisance. That's what it was. That's what happened, girl. I don't know. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what happened. You also see what really happened the night of the crash, where the cars were racing and Camila was not drinking. She didn't like drinking because her uncle was an alcoholic. She didn't like drinking. She was sober. Sober? Okay. She was sober. And she gets in the car with Scott. She's like, I want to drive. He says, this is my car. I do what I want. They end up racing another car, and somehow the car does a really sharp 180. So they're going the opposite direction as Scott and Camila are going this way. And Scott tries to, and he ends up hitting something, and that's how she tumbles and everything else. And Sydney, the friend, ends up going to Scott's the next day and is like, why did you leave her? Like, where is Camila? What happened? Whatever. And he's like, I don't know. And she was like, and you're not even hurt. And she's literally fighting for her life in the hospital. And he's like, well, my arm kind of hurt. Just stupid stuff, right? And so Sydney also says that she tries to go visit Camila in the hospital, but her uncle, Camila's uncle, threatened to hurt Sydney. She tried to come see them in the house, and once again, he told them to go away. And this was a little bit more, I guess, like scary and threatening because Sydney had witnessed Camila's uncle in a drunken rage one night during a sleepover. So she knew that it was not something to be played with. He was a dangerous man, and she just didn't want to risk it for the biscuit. And honestly, frankly, I probably wouldn't have either. Maybe I probably would have hopefully have told someone, but I definitely wouldn't have been going to see Camila no more. Definitely not. After all of this, like Nancy drooling around, Lauren goes back to New York. They go see the lawyer. Okay, I go see the lawyer, and he explains that Camila had to go through psych evaluations and she didn't do really well. She was not very compliant in doing them. Kind of just explains the intricacies of TBI recovery and how you should be socializing and going to like rehab and stuff like that. Depending on what kind of facilities that you lost or that you kept, you might have to go to rehab, you might just whatever. And her uncle was not allowing her to do that. He was not taking care of her. He was obviously hurting her. So that's why she has suffered so much and is in this really weird regressive state. It is also explained that all of the recovery that she has done, everything that she does know, she has learned on her own. And I also want to just quickly get in here. Talking about TBIs, you can understand why she's acting that way. And I don't know every single type of TBI, and I know it depends on the situation. I know it depends on the person. But do TBIs, like, do you lose your entire memory from, like, childhood to now when you have I don't know. Maybe for some people, but that's how it was where they were like, but I'm like, you knew how to shower, so you didn't forget how to do. Obviously, it comes and goes and everything else. I don't really know TBIs. I don't want to speak too much and be, like, a literal idiot and everyone is like, girl, you're just being stupid, dumb, shut up. But yes, you lose cognitive function, mobility, stuff like that, because it's a traumatic brain injury. Your brain takes care of everything in this fat head of yours. But like, you don't like suddenly become 3 years old. Like, I've seen so many videos on TBIs where people, and I guess it just really does depend on how you're affected. So I guess just shut up and be quiet. Okay, cool. But Camila is arrested and Lauren kind of cosplays Bella Swan, where all she does is sit on her bed and look out the window. But soon, the trial is here. Okay, the trial is here, and the girls all show up. Keep in mind, once again, indicative of the time and indicative of who's writing this, like a young child is writing this, where going to court, Lauren puts on leggings, a sweatshirt or a sweater, and a leather jacket. Who is wearing that to court for serious and your girlfriend is up for second-degree murder? Be truthful. She gets to court and Camila ends up seeing Lauren, and it's a very dramatic thing, and she's kind of like trying to get away from the guards and her lawyer and everything else to go see Lauren. And Lauren is escorted out because, they said that she poses as a distraction for the defendant. So she goes out and she's being very angsty on the steps and she's sketching and doing all that other stuff. And during the trial, while Lauren's out there, the prosecutor basically poses a question of if Camila is a danger to society. But after posing that question, Dinah has this big monologue moment where she's basically saying, Camila's innocent, she wouldn't hurt a fly, yada, yada, yada. The judge calls for deliberation. Only 10 minutes, once again, not realistic if someone's up for second-degree murder. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, a judge, or have I ever been called for jury duty. But after deliberation of 10 minutes, the jury finds Camila not guilty. She has to do like mandated therapy and doctor's appointments to help with her TBI recovery. But other than that, she is not considered a risk. She does not have to serve any type of time. She's chilling. She's great. You also, after this whole thing has happened, you also realize that Camila did remember Lauren a little bit because in her journals, and that's what kind of like Lauren was using to help us find out what was happening with Camila. In her journals, Camila had told the journal and written down that she had the fattest crush on Lauren and she liked her so much and she was so beautiful and pretty and blah blah blah. And so she did remember a little bit of that emotion. So Lauren asked Camila, how did you remember us, like what's going on? And she had told Lauren that she remembered a little bit of her from high school and that she doesn't mean to hurt anyone, she's not a bad person, and yeah. And after that, Lauren presents her with a stuffed animal that she took from her home and the journal that she used to like uncover all of Tom Maverick's nefarious doings. Lauren goes to plant daisies and flowers in honor of her and Camila's like first really dramatic interaction, and they talk about her feelings. It's really nothing, girl. I will say that there was this cute little excerpt about why Lauren loves Camila, and I'll read it off for you. As Lauren watched her, so immersed in her own world, she realized why she was so drawn to the girl. Camila was mindlessly innocent. She was genuine. There were no ulterior motives to her actions. She did what she wanted to do without questioning herself. In doing so, Camila made herself easy to love. Lauren could easily recognize the inner workings of Camila's mind because she was so open. Camila loved endlessly. Camila forgave eternally, which hurt Lauren to think that someone would take advantage of that. She decided right then that she'd do everything she could to make sure that didn't happen. The epilogue, I didn't even finish reading it because I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm done. I'm ready to be done. It wasn't even a long read at all. I was just ready to be over and done with it. It's very fluffy. It takes the course of like winter, Christmas break of that same year, and they go to see Lauren's family and stuff, and it's very romantic and whatever. They meet all the like siblings and kids and stuff, and I skipped to the end. Basically, one of the Christmas presents Lauren had gotten for Camila was a tattoo to commemorate their first dramatic whatever, and it was like 2 daisies above her heart because Lauren's heart is so good. And that's the end. I do want to talk a little bit about the appeal of real person fiction in like fan fiction in comparison to fan fiction that has canonical source material. Canon refers to the source material or like the works that are considered official or authoritative in a fictional world. So take Harry Potter, because I will talk a little bit about Harry Potter, where a lot of that fandom is rooted in canon, but it's also rooted in a lot of fanon, which is the opposite of like fan created theories and whatnot, what have you. But something that is canon is that Harry Potter is an orphan. Okay, if Harry Potter is an orphan, his parents are still passed away in any type of work that you've read, that is canon. Fanon would be that Lily and James Potter somehow survived and they have raised Harry to be him, and that changes the whole course of the story of what we know as Harry, true Harry Potter. That changes that, right? So I think my biggest takeaway is that real person fan fiction like removes all of that canon, okay? Because you truly can make up anything and you don't know if it's true or not. It most likely isn't true, hence why it's called fan fiction, but some of these things can be true. So I think that's what it is. I think it just gives people like more of a blank canvas instead of all of this source material to work through and try to incorporate to be authentic. You see true real life people and you're like, well, I can make a story about them and maybe it's not true, but there's not really any concrete evidence disproving their work, right? So I think it depends. And while I do recognize that real person fan fiction is not malicious most of the time, it is rarely malicious and rarely done with ill intent. It can be harmful. It's important to look at the characterizations that we see in these fan fictions and how a lot of people were putting that onto the girls in real life. And whole time you don't know these people. We don't know them. We just have this idea of what we know. And that's okay. We're all parasocial. I have had so many parasocial relationships I understand. Not to the point where I'm like writing fan fiction, but I was reading it. I can acknowledge I'm part of the problem. I don't read it anymore, but I just reread it, you know? There's a lot of pressure on real people to behave a certain way. So while it is rarely malicious, we do put these ideas onto real people to the point where they have become characters in and of themselves. And you could say that's kind of how it is anyways, because most celebrities have personas and we don't know them. But it's one thing to have a curated persona that a agency, a person, an entertainer is putting out there. And there's another to curate one of your own, put that on a person, and then when they don't act accordingly to what you believe, you then are dragging them up and down the Twitter timeline. I just think that's usually the problem. I don't think fan culture will ever truly die, nor do I want it to. I think fan culture has bred some amazing things, okay? I think fan culture has bred some awful things as well, but fan culture has bred some of the most funniest, thought-provoking work that I've ever seen. And it's also just been like, not good at all. I don't know what else to say about that. If Wattpad, Tumblr, Archive of Our Own, fanfiction.net, if for the sleeper agents out there, fanfiction.net, if those things are alive and running, then fandoms, fangirls, fanfiction is alive and running, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't even think the legacy of Fifth Harmony will die. That is an insane stage presence that they had, and not insane in a good way. The presence is more like the vibe of when you think your period is over, or you decide when your period is over because you're tired of wearing like anything and you're just like, I just want to be by myself, I just want to be done. Then you pull your pants down and then you realize, yeah, I definitely should have put something up in my drawers for that one. You know, that's kind of how I find Fifth Harmony to be. Like a period stain. Yeah. Lovingly. Period stain. Endearingly, not enduringly. Endearingly. I just want us to be more conscious of what we are creating, consuming, and also commenting on. Giving publicity to certain things. I don't think this giving publicity, like I don't think talking about this is really a problem or a super big deal. I do think certain things that I see videos on do make situations worse. I just want us to have like a clear lens, and you can enjoy your real person fan fiction, I guess. I'm not going to shame you. I don't like yucking anybody's yum, okay? But you have to use your discernment that everything you're reading is false. And while there is not substantiated concrete proof that it isn't, it's false. That's it for me, folks. If you have a younger sibling, check that phone. There's something gross on there. I know it is. If you're a loser like me, tell me about all the freak stuff you got into as an adolescent. I had so much fun talking about this. I had so much fun rereading it, even though I didn't even finish reading the epilogue. I said, I'm tired of seeing them kiss. I'm tired of it. And usually that's crazy because I love seeing people kiss. I'm sorry. I that's inappropriate and gross. I still want to see them in concert, even though I know they're never going to come back. I still want to see them in concert because that is a mess that cannot be replicated. I had so much fun. I hope I see you in the next one, and bye. Oh, woo. Okay.